Okay, I think we're live. Hi everyone! How are we all doing today? Oh my god. Okay, so welcome to my YouTube channel. This is my first video. For those of you that don't know, I actually have a podcast that I've been running for about 7 months now. And I just felt cool to do more video content. So here I am. And as a first video, I was thinking, what are the things that I would tell myself, my younger version of myself? And I wrote down a few things and I'm going to share them with you today. And so I just felt called to title this to all of you guys, to all of my sisters that are on their personal growth journey, on their personal development journey, and just trying to get better. I thought, let me share the things that have helped me and that I feel like are important to just becoming the best version of yourself. So let's get started. Okay. The first thing that came up for me was this idea of embodying greatness. And how this looks like for me is focusing on the quality of your character. And I would say this has always been a really important thing for me, because despite all of the trials and tribulations, I feel like maintaining the quality of my character has probably been one of the best things that I could have done. And of course, like, I'm human and I experience all of the varieties of characteristics that we have. However, I feel like being grounded in like a truly quality person. And to me, what a quality person is someone that is loyal, is someone that has integrity in their truth, someone that like does things properly and doesn't use the shortcut. And so this is what I thought when I was thinking of this video, where I am today. Oh, I think it says it's disconnected. Okay, we are reconnected. I think there was something wrong with the connection. Anyways, so yes, when I was thinking about how far I have come, and you know, when people ask me, okay, Hajar, like, how did you get to where you are? A lot of that I would attest it to maintaining the quality of my character. And I think in this way, like, even if you don't get immediate gratification, I feel like maintaining the quality of your character, there is deeper roots that seep into your life and that are able to then, in the long run, to direct you further than other people. So rather than just doing things on the surface, going deep and like really cultivating this quality of character goes a long way. So that's like embodying this greatness. And I really believe that greatness is a lifelong pursuit, or rather a lifelong embodiment. And I feel like at each stage there are always things to learn. And despite it all, I believe that as long as I continue to maintain this quality of character, and like, I truly want good not only for myself but for the people around me and for the world, like, only good can come. And even when perceived bads do occur in my life, if I just continue to maintain this quality of character, like, there's just by default people and the right places will just come and they'll just become and be like so in awe of you, like, wow, like, I love how you show up, like, I love how you present yourself, I love what you stand for. And a lot of the time this is not something that we say, but we are. So people can like really feel our presence, and they don't understand exactly what it is or why they like being around you and why they feel so inspired and so uplifted being around you. But I really believe that when you are rooted and grounded in the quality of your character, it allows people to see that you stand for something and that they too can also show up in their truth. So that was the first point. The second point is moving even when it feels scary, or you'll spend the rest of your life stuck. This one is so big for me because I feel like at each stage there is just like another level of me needing to show up. And I would say this is a big reason why I have got to where I am today. Just showing up, like even if it feels scary, even if it feels like frightening. And I feel like, you know, a lot of the time we want to know the recipe of exactly like how do I become successful. And the truth is that we all have this autonomy. We all have the same bodily functions, right? So even like the most successful people, they still have a human experience. And you can take this in two ways, like, oh my God, like I'm just doomed forever, like I'm always gonna have this like fear and stuff. Or you can take it and be like, oh my God, okay, it's just a part of a function and I still get to decide to show up. So this is actually how I've seen it. I've seen it as like, okay, if the fear comes up, it just means I am human. Great job, I'm still alive. And I still get to show up. Like I still get to do the thing. This study that I was reading that I feel like just liberated me so much was understanding that in our internal bodies, excitement and nervousness or fear have the same chemical reaction. So like internally, when we feel excitement or fear, our body is experiencing the same chemical reaction. It's just the label that is different. So if I just say I'm excited when I feel nervous, then it's actually gonna help me because my body is feeling the same as it would feel excited or nervous. So that is something that I feel like liberated me so much. And yeah, so I definitely feel like that was an important point, moving even when it feels scary. And this is another thing that people ask me, oh, Hajar, how did you get here? Or what did you do? Like, how do you just have the courage just to show up? And I feel like, yes, sometimes I deeply believe myself and I'm like, yeah, I can do this. Like, I got this. And sometimes I'm like, no, I'm scared. Like, I don't know if I can do this. But I just decide to show up. And I feel like as a younger kid, I had like really, really good discipline. Now, I don't know, like now I feel like it fluctuates because I'm attempting to reconnect. So I'm just going to stop. Okay, reconnected. Okay, we're back. Sorry for all the disconnection. Okay. So what was I saying? Yes, discipline. Now I'm trying to lovingly balance my feminine, my masculine. But as a kid, I feel like I was like so dominant in my masculine and I was really, really disciplined, which was amazing. But for me, it wasn't a question. Like if I had to show up and do something, but I didn't feel like I wanted to, I would still show up. Like that wouldn't affect whether I was going to show up or not. And I feel like as a kid, I don't know, like it just was so much easier for me than it is now. I feel like now, I always say to my friends, I feel like I'm becoming more human the more I live. Like I feel like when I'm a kid, like I'm like, it's not as like grounded human, but I feel like the more I become an adult, it's like, oh, like I experience more of the biological experience as it is to be a human being, which then I feel like comes with a lot of things that I just didn't anticipate. But anyways, the discipline thing, that was definitely something that throughout my life I felt came pretty easy to me. But as I grew up, I was like, oh, okay, like I really just got to push through even if I don't feel like it. And of course there is balance to this. I try not to say blanket statements, but the discipline thing, even though it may come as a blanket statement, of course, you know your body, you know when you need to stop and take a break. But overall, in the long run, whatever your goal is, you know that you just have to show up in some way to get where you want to be or to get to your goal or to grow and expand. So that was the second point. the third point that I said is people in your life, come to mirror your desires. Oh, yes. Okay. So this one was an interesting one because I feel like at times, like I would have certain desires in my life and I would start seeing physical evidence. So I would start seeing people show up having the desire, or I would just, like, the desire will start to become more closer to me. Like I would feel closer in proximity to it. But I feel like at first I would just be like, oh my God, like God, like I'm seeing the thing, but I don't have the thing. Like I'm seeing the thing, but I don't have the thing. And I don't know what it was exactly that changed my perspective. It must have been something that I saw or like a book that I may have read. I don't exactly remember. But I began to realize, oh my God, like me having the desire and then starting to see it in my physical world means it's so close to me. It means that like I am so close to receiving the desire. So, and it was true, like I would get the desire after I began seeing it in my proximity. So for example, let's say, I don't know, like I wanted to get married, then I had the desire to get married, and then I started like making friends and like healthy relationships, and I started like seeing a lot of people getting married. That would mean that it's close to me, that it means that I will be getting married soon. So similarly, in every other area of my life, I began seeing it like this. I began seeing when I have the desire and then people show up in my life embodying that desire, or I start to just become more aware of it, it means it's close. It means God is like preparing you for it, and slowly it will be yours. So now I see it as so exciting. Like when I have a desire and then someone comes in my life and like has that thing, or I start to see it in my proximity, or doors start to open, I'm like, okay, God, you're teasing me a bit, but I know it's here. Like I know it's close. So I know what I am doing, like my own internal work, I am on the right path. It's like a confirmation from God saying, okay, you're doing what you have to do. So I feel like this mindset and this shift really, really helped me to just like embody the woman that I am today. So, another point that I put for this is that maybe the person or the thing doesn't actually exist, but it just came into your life to show you that it's close. And I've had quite like eerie experiences where I have asked for something and the person has come up in my life that is close to my desire, and then I'm like, oh my god, like I feel close to it, and then I just don't see them anymore. Like they just go completely out of my vicinity, and I'm like, wait, did they even exist? Like, did it even exist? So yeah, I find that stuff eerie, but in like a cool way. And I feel like small things like that always strengthen my faith in God, and they always strengthen my belief in myself, of that, yes, I am here for a greater purpose. And then it also strengthens my belief with the higher power, with God. So that was the third point. Oh, I love this one. So the fourth point, which is actually how I started my first podcast episode, if you want to go listen to that, is that you are your greatest asset and investment. And you, by investing the most in yourself, you become the greatest return of investment. And I believe this to the core, because whatever you plant in yourself, like whether it's a book you read, whether it's a course you take, whether it's a skill you start to learn, whatever it is, whether it's like traveling, like whatever, it's something that like literally expands who you are as a human being. Like, think of it as the thing that you invest in is literally an investment. It's like a seed that you place in yourself that literally grows. And I've always believed this, but I would say that throughout time, this has been something that has like reaffirmed to me so many times. And I feel like at first I saw it as fun, which of course it is fun to like invest in yourself and stuff. But the more I began doing it, the more I realized actually it's like literally a necessity. Like it's literally my job to keep investing in myself, and it's my job to keep widening my horizon, to keep allowing myself to grow. Because ultimately, the more I pour into myself, the more of me I become, the more of me that is activated. Think of it like, I'm trying to think of an example. Let me think. Okay, the only thing I can think of right now is like an advent calendar, like a Christmas advent calendar. And let's say, okay, let's do this. So think of a Christmas advent calendar, right? And you have your advent calendar, and in each door you have a gift. Let's say, like, you know how like now they do like designer advent calendars, like Dior and stuff. So let's say you have like a Dior advent calendar, and there is like all of these fun presents inside, right? So you have the advent calendar, like the gifts and the presents exist in this advent calendar, but it's essentially we have to be the ones to open the door. So the advent calendar already has its value, like it already has it's like potency, like it already has the cool things inside of it. Similarly, you already have everything that God has placed in you. So you already have like just all of those juicy things inside of you. You have like the capability to like just manifest everything you want. Like that exists in you. All of those gifts exist in you the way those gifts exist in the advent calendar. But if you don't open the door to the advent calendar, you cannot access the gift. So the way I see investing in yourself is when you invest in yourself, those doors get opened. Those doors get activated so the gift of you can come out at each chapter. So this is why I said that it went from me seeing as investing in myself as like, oh, fun, oh, it would be nice to get this, to like, oh, it's necessary. Like it's necessary to open the door so I can receive the gift. So that's the same way I see it. Like investing in yourself activates certain codes in you that only God has placed in you. Like no one has that apart from you. So by investing in yourself, it activates these very unique codes that you have, that God has written for you to activate and embody on this planet. So that's why I say you are your greatest investment and you are your greatest return of investment. Yes, and I feel like I am definitely, God willing, going to be a lifelong learner and continue to expand, grow, and evolve, because there's always things to learn at every single stage. I just feel like having, again, going back to the first point of the quality of the character, if this is part of who you are, like the part of your quality of your character, that no, this is a value of me, like I value growing and expanding in the way my soul has come here to do, then like your whole life you will continuously be growing and expanding. And it's a lie that your life ends at like 50 or 40 or 60 or wherever they say. It's a complete lie. In fact, it only gets deeper. Like kind of similar to the universe, there is no end. The universe is continuously expanding. There is more to more. So just as your life, there is more to you at every single stage. Your life doesn't end at like 20 or 30 or whatever else society says. So that was that one. Oh, I love this one. Okay, so the next one is they criticize you, then they follow. So I have a funny story with this actually. This is something my sister said to me, but me and my sister we're always doing these things. We're always testing out like food things and like working out stuff. And we were on like no gluten, no dairy. And I had other family members like my brother just like laughing at us because they're like, why are you like gluten, like no gluten, no dairy, like you're just so, you know. Just so that they literally ended up getting like no gluten things. Like my brother ended up just getting things that were no gluten, right? So this made me laugh because my sister then she said, they criticize you, then they follow. And this is like so true, because at first, like doing what you what you love or doing what you enjoy, a lot of people may critique you at first. Like, a lot of people may be like, what is she doing? Or like, she's weird, or whatever the case may be. And then the thing is, they'll end up following you in whatever way it is. And I feel like this is just how we have attempting to reconnect. So I'm just gonna wait. Okay, we are reconnected. Okay, so yes, you may have desires in your heart to do certain things, and then you may feel a bit shy to show up in them. But the truth is that, firstly, you have the freedom to do whatever you want to do. Secondly, even if people do criticize you, it doesn't matter, because more time they desire that inside themselves. They desire to also be seen. They desire to also just show up in their truth, like to actualize their soul's potential. So you just doing what you need to do, it doesn't take away from your experience. It actually not only adds to your experience, but it also liberates other people. But kind of what I was saying with the evolution thing, of that we have evolved to criticize other people, because anything new that comes into our environment, it's already a threat to our survival. And that's just how we have been evolutionary wired. So that instinctive judgment that people have on you when you show up and do something new that's completely different, firstly, it's like evolution, right? It's not really even them. Like, it's just like an instinct. And secondly, they probably will copy you and go and do that eventually. So by you showing up, what you're actually doing, which is a service to humanity, but you're allowing that to be activated in them. So the fact that you have done it, thank you, because now you have given permission for other girls and other people in general to also show up in the way that they want to. So you actually liberate other people by liberating yourself. So I thought that one was a good one. They criticize you, then they follow. Oh yeah, so a sub-note that I put for that is allowing yourself to be at peace with what you love and enjoy. Because ultimately, like, your soul tribe, the people that are meant for you, they will find you, they will come to you. And if you can be at peace with your heart's desires and what you truly enjoy, then not only are you happy and you are in resonance with your soul, but then you get to liberate so many other people and you get to connect with your soul tribe. And there is something interesting here. It's this idea that you don't really want everyone or everything or every idea to agree with you, because if everything agrees with you, then you're not any different to like the blue sky. Like, it's just everywhere. You want to be you, and you want to stand for something and cause some sort of like friction in the collective, because that is how you firstly like have integrity in your truth, and secondly how you become grounded in who you are, and thirdly how the right people attract you. Let's say if you're trying to like agree with every single person, then it's like who are you actually speaking to, right? But if you just speak what's on your heart, just by nature, by the law of attraction, by all of these governing physical and metaphysical laws, the right people will find you, the right people will come to you, and then it just feels so intrinsically fulfilling because you're with your people. And I feel like one of the reasons we've come on this planet is to really, really feel that, to feel connection with our soul tribe. So that is that point. Okay, the next one is being crazy enough to believe that you can do it. So this goes similar with the showing up even when it goes scary, but this is like a step further. This is just, if you have a desire in your heart and it feels crazy, it sounds crazy, you know you have to do it. You know you have to do it. Because if you don't, it's just going to keep lingering in your heart. And I also feel like a part of you will feel stuck. A part of you will just feels like like a block. Like there is something that needs to be embody. There's something that needs to be channeled through me. So then you would think maybe it's like I'm not sleeping right, or like I'm not eating right, but it's really that you're like one of your chakras, like they say, feel stuck. Like you feel stuck because you're not expressing your truth, or you're not doing what you enjoy, or you're not doing what lights up your soul. So that's being crazy enough to do it. And you know, the amazing thing about our generation, like, thanks to God, we are so lucky and privileged. Like, we have so many examples. We have so many examples of people being crazy enough to do it at the time. And then now, as we have come into our future, we see that actually they weren't crazy. What they thought was actually pretty normal to us. But at that time, it was crazy. Like the first person that thought to fly a plane at that time, people probably thought, no, this guy is just insane. Like, what does he think is going to fly a plane? But to us, like, I can literally see a plane right now. Like, to us, it's normal. To us, it's like flying a plane is normal. Like, that's not a big deal. But at the time, the person had to be crazy enough to believe that he could make a plane. And you know, the thing that I really, really love about this is that the fact that there's the desire in your heart, it actually means that the dream is possible. Just as if I had given you a sunflower seed and I had told you, okay, this is a sunflower seed, plant it in your backyard and allow it to grow. When I give it to you, like, okay, so I'm going to plant this sunflower seed, I'm going to allow it to grow. I know it's a sunflower, so I know it's going to become a sunflower. But let's say I didn't tell you it was a sunflower. I didn't even tell you it was a seed that was going to grow, and you just like put it in the ground and just like left it, and then water did its thing, the soil did its thing. It grew into a sunflower. So the fact is, similar to the seed, your desire is like the seed, like literally. So it means that it exists. So the sunflower seed exists, right? It's not a sunflower yet because it requires some sort of nurturing process. It requires you to firstly, like, some action. It requires you to put it in the soil, like fertile soil, to put water, to give it time to grow, to allow it to be exposed to the sun, like all of these things that allow the seed to grow. It doesn't mean the sunflower doesn't actually exist. It just means that it requires some sort of nurturing process for the sunflower to grow. So just like the dream that you have in your heart, just like the desire that you have in your heart that you think is just crazy to believe, it's actually not. The desire is the seed that God has placed in your heart, and your job is just to show up in ways that you can nurture it. So whether it's like physically doing something, whether it's releasing something, whatever the case may be, it's just your job to nurture it, to water the plant, to give it sunlight so it can become it. Like, let's say there are people that just never knew flowers existed, and they didn't know that from a seed you could get a flower. Like, if you show them the seed and you say, this can turn into a flower, they may be like, are you joking? Like, this little dot can turn into a flower? Like, no. But it can, right? We know that. So, you know, I feel like, you know, God is so smart. Like, he's given us so many literal real life examples on this planet that so seamlessly reflect into our spiritual lives, into just our everyday lives. Like, we can just look outside and we can be so moved and inspired by just the smallest thing. Like, literally, I'm looking at flowers right now. There was a seed that had to plant for that to grow. So just like that, the desire was placed in your heart so that you can nurture it. It's your job to nurture it for the dream to grow and to manifest. So for me, I feel like that just gives me like reassurance that, okay, it exists. I just have to do certain things, become a version that flower can truly thrive in. So I'm going to leave that point at that. Be crazy enough and believe that you can do it. Okay? And the second one is be crazy enough to take action. Yes, definitely be crazy enough to take action. Okay, I think those are essentially all my points. the last one that I had is just doing your best. So this is interesting because I feel like, especially as we merge into the world, like once we come out of the systematic structure of education where we're kind of similar to our peers, when we come out more into the world, it's so easy to compare to other people and compare our best and be like, I don't measure up to this person, so that means like I am inadequate. Like, let's say for example in the gym with pull-ups, this has been something that I have been trying to get for some time now, which luckily, thanks to God, I have been able to get a couple pull-ups. That's been a journey in itself. Let me know if you want I don't know, some story time with that. But when I first started doing pull-ups, I saw people just being able to do just bang out like so many pull-ups, and I just thought, I can't even think about doing that, you know. But if at that time I had compared my best, which at that time my best was just using the resistance bands in the gym and like doing sets of them, and I started with like really tight resistance bands, so it was basically like pushing me up by itself. But that was the best that I could do at that time. If I compared myself with someone next to me that was like banging out 10 pull-ups, like my amazing friend, firstly, it wouldn't allow me to progress. And secondly, it just doesn't make sense. Like, you cannot compare an apple with an orange, like they say. So this is why you know what doing your best is. And like, you truly know, like once you remove the ego, you know what your best is. So I think it's so important to do this. And I feel like for me, the reason why I kept getting wound up about this was because for some reason I thought like I had to like make it in life or become so successful by like my early 20s. And I don't know why I thought this, maybe like societal pressure, but I thought like, yeah, if I'm not successful by like my 20s, and like that's it. So I felt like I had such a short time constraint. And also with this limiting belief that like your life ends at 30 and like you have no life afterwards, which is a complete lie. But once I was able to work through that limiting belief and like see examples of people like in their 60s, 70s, like just smashing it in life, I was like, God willing, if I make it a full life, like I have so much time. Why am I rushing the process? Like, why am I rushing the process? I saw this beautiful quote a couple months ago, and I'm so annoyed that I didn't write it down, but it goes something along the lines of nature never rushes, but it always gets things done. And we are witnesses to this. Like, nature does its thing and it does it so beautifully. Like, you could be living on this planet for like 100 years and you could still cry to like the beauty of blossom trees. And I found this so profound because it allowed me to rest in the fact that I don't need to rush the process. Just as nature takes its time and still gets things done, I can take my time, enjoy the process, be compassionate with myself, allow myself to like do the thing properly, like truly allow myself to grow. And in that way, it makes life more of like, it gives more depth to life rather than this surface level of like trying to get to the pull-up. In that process of getting that pull-up, I learned so much about myself. I not only was able to do a pull-up, I was able to grow so many of my muscles. I was able to like learn so much in that path. But if I was so obsessed with just getting that one pull-up, or if I kept comparing myself to my friend, then I would have robbed myself from so many experiences. So that's the point that I'm trying to make, of just do your best. Like truly, like sit with yourself and your heart and be like, okay, like today, what is the best that I can do? And just like allow yourself to do that. And from that way, you can see other people that are like doing so amazing and just see them as inspiration. Amazing, like they're doing this thing in this life, in this area of life. And then you can also just be at peace with yourself and just do your best at every stage. And I'm gonna end with this. which is something that I heard today, which, oh my God, it was just so profound. And it goes something like this. When you do your best, the... Oh, wait, hold up. I wrote it down, but I can't read my handwriting. Just 1 second. Let me try to read it. When you do your best, the best act of your decision will go beyond. When you do your best. When you do your best act. Okay, I can't read my handwriting for some reason. I have like cursive handwriting, so I really can't read it. But it was something along the lines of, when you do your best, that decision that you make by doing your best, that like, it goes beyond your time, like it precedes your time. And I hope I didn't butcher it, but what I got from that, why it resonated so much with me, was because it gave me peace in the sense that, like, literally all you can do is your best. Like, really and truly, like, all you can do is your best. And if you just show up authentically as yourself and you just do your best at each stage, that mere decision will just surpass you in so many lifetimes, and your legacy in just showing up as yourself will just live on. You weren't trying to do too much, like you weren't trying to like do all of these crazy things, like you were just doing your best. So that's essentially all the points that I have today. Those are the things that I would tell my younger self. And I feel like these points, they really have helped me become the person that I am today. There is definitely more depth that I can get into with these, but I would say that when thinking about the things that have truly helped me, these are the things that have come up for me. And yeah, so I hope you guys have enjoyed this. Let me just check the chat. Okay. Hi, for those of you watching, thank you for joining. Okay, so yes, those were my points today, and I'm so glad to start doing these visual contents. Like I said, I do have my podcast, which I love to do, but I also feel like doing visual content is so fun. So I'm excited to continue doing this, and this was my first live. All right, so let me know what you enjoyed from this video. Give me some feedback in the comments of what you took from this, and it was so great to speak with you guys, and I will see you in my next live, hopefully. All right, sending you so much love.